Hello Aquarius, welcome to your general reading for November 2017. I'm using the Golden Botticelli Tarot deck by Lo Scarabeo. The shadow card is this card here. It's the card at the bottom of the deck after everything else has been dealt out. And this is the Ten of Pentacles. This is about financial prosperity, maybe about a new home. But it's the hidden energy. So what that means exactly here, I'm not sure. Maybe perhaps it's something that you're striving for and you don't really share that with other people. Maybe that's the driving force behind some of your actions in life, is striving for that financial prosperity. Or maybe you have money that you don't talk about or share with others. Maybe you're in the process of buying a new home and you haven't been telling anybody about that. But that's the hidden energies for this month. The theme for the month is this card here, which is the Ace of Wands. This is a new course of action. This is a new beginning, either a new job or it's moving. So there we go with the home theme. It could be moving to a new home. It could be moving to a new town, moving to a new state, moving across the world. It could just be moving. But the Ace of Wands is a new course of action, something new that you're beginning. It could be a new job. It could be a new job to create the wealth and the financial wealth that you're striving for here. Maybe you've taken a new job that pays better money simply for the pay. Maybe there was no other reason for you to take the job other than for the pay, and you keep that to yourself. Then this card over here represents you. And this is the Queen of Swords. So the Swords sign is, the Swords suit is the air sign. And Aquarius is the air sign as well. So this could represent you as a Swords energy. So let me describe this person. As a Queen of Swords, this person is less emotional than some of the other signs. She, if you think of the sword or a knife, she cuts to the chase. She cuts through the BS. She's truthful and honest. The Sword's energy is about communication, it's wisdom, it's education and knowledge. So it's all of these things wrapped up in the Queen. So the Queen has the strength and she's got the leadership. So this is about you taking on some kind of responsibilities this month, taking on some kind of leadership role or being in charge. So if there is a situation where you're moving and buying a house, maybe you've stepped up and you're doing a lot of the work, doing a lot of the communication. Maybe you're doing the research and finding a home. But you're kind of taking charge of the situation here. That's what this represents. Educating yourself where that is concerned. Or if it's a new job, it could be about you educating yourself and becoming very knowledgeable. And this is the person who's the best. You're the best at what you do. So if this is a person who's going back to college, if your new course of action is about going to college to get the education, I'm going to say you've already accomplished all of that because you already have the wisdom and you already have the knowledge. You have the education that you need to succeed to accomplish this goal for financial prosperity, or this home. Maybe you have this dream home. You're striving for this dream home, and everything that you do in your life, a lot of the choices that you make are about having the home of your dreams. The conflict is this card here, and this is the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is, I have to think about it. These cards throw me off so much because they do not follow the typical imagery of the traditional tarot deck. But the way I see this energy in these cards is always as this. If there's conflicts here, or there's actions here, you're rising above it all. It's rising above the conflicts, rising above these actions, putting it behind you and moving on and rising above it all. But this is the conflict, so you're having difficulties rising above. Difficulty rising above the conflicts. Whatever these conflicts are, you're having difficulty moving on from it or moving away from it. They're still with you. So if this these actions, and their actions as well, the Wand's energy is about action. It's also about growth. It's growth and expansion. So you're having difficulty with this growth and expansion. And here's this new opportunity, this new course of action right here. But there's conflicts surrounding that. The foundation of the reading is this card here. And this is the Two of Pentacles, which is generally about balancing. It's finding balance. It's usually a balance between two things, whether it's a balance between your home life and your career, or if there's two people involved in a relationship. In this particular deck, it shows these little creatures here. And I always look at this as, you know, the children, this balancing act that you have with your children and whatever else that it is that you're doing, whether it's a balancing act between your children and a new relationship, if you're divorced or separated from the father of the children, or it's a balancing act between, you know, your parenting and your children and your career, or, you know, what comes to mind right now is if you're a teacher and you're working with children and there's this constant balancing act, and they have little horns on them. So I think of this as children that are being devilish and they're misbehaving. So if you're a teacher and you're struggling with how to discipline the children in your classroom because they're very protected right now, much more so than they ever have been before, but it's kind of allows behaviors in the classroom that were never, ever allowed in the past, not ever. So there's some kind of conflicts with the misbehavior with the children, and there's this juggling act that you're playing with the behavior of these children and whatever else is going on in your life. Maybe the career, juggling the family and the career, because what's really, as much as you, if you are a mother perhaps, or even if you're a father, as much as you may enjoy being a parent, you know, somewhere in the back of your mind, there's always this goal is to have this beautiful home, and that's kind of your driving force. So it's this juggling act between your family and your home, always. Then we have, this card is in your past. And this is the Two of Wands, which is about having to make a choice between two courses of action. Sometimes when you come to a crossroads in life and you have to decide which way to go, that's what this is reflected here. Maybe you've had two opportunities given to you and you had to choose which one to accept, but this was in the past. So you've made your choice. But the present energy right now is feeling unlucky. This is being unlucky. I don't generally do reversals, but when this card gets passed me sometimes, when I deal this out, it comes up upside down sometimes and I don't catch it. So I feel like it's meant to be this way. Because if you look at him, he's feeling unlucky. Because this card is reversed, it's upside down. The card typically is the card about good luck and good fortune. And there's this, and it's the end of a cycle. 10 is at the end of a cycle. Whatever this cycle was in your life, but you're feeling a little distraught over it. You're feeling distraught over this, and whatever these battles, these struggles, these arguments, whatever this is that you were rising above, whatever these actions are here, that you're having difficulty rising above it because your present energy, you're feeling distraught. You're feeling unlucky. You're at the end of the cycle, but it probably wasn't a very good cycle. Whatever that was, if that was a job, or if that was, a neighborhood that you lived in, or a career choice, maybe this in the past was which type of career to choose. And maybe you didn't choose a career. Maybe you chose to be a stay-at-home mom. And now you're feeling like you wish you had stuck with your career because you're not where you want to be in life. You don't have this financial prosperity, perhaps. And you're feeling unlucky and you're having difficulty rising above all the struggles that you're having. Maybe these are financial struggles that you're having. But you're at the end of a cycle, which is reflected in the number 10 card, because this is being the theme, is the beginning of a new cycle. So where the 10 is at the end, This is at the end of the cycle. This is the beginning of a new one. The Ace of Wands is the beginning of a new course of action, perhaps a new job. Maybe you chose a job and a career path that you weren't happy with. So now maybe you're going back to school. Maybe you have gone back to school and now you're going to switch careers. Or if you've been a stay-at-home mom, maybe now you're going to go back to work. This is this new course of action here. And as the Swords energy, this is about education and wisdom and knowledge here. Maybe you're using that education and that knowledge to take on a new job. This is in your near future. This card is the Five of Wands. Usually it shows 5 people in battle with each other. Nobody's the winner and nobody's the loser. But in this particular deck, it's one person sitting here at the table, holding his stomach. So I always look at this card with this particular deck about this being a struggle within yourself. It's an internal struggle. And this shows up in your near future. So if there was something about your past where you chose a job or a career, or you chose not to take a job or the particular career, and now you're feeling this inner struggle about it. Maybe if you are a stay-at-home mom and you're struggling with the idea of continuing to stay at home. Now, one thing I want to mention is when I was looking over some of the astrology for the month, I'm recording this in the month of October. On Wednesday, October 11th, Jupiter moved into the sign of Scorpio, which is about expansion and growth. It's about a total positive transformation that's going to take place for all of us. We're coming out of a period where Jupiter was in Libra, which was about balancing our lives and working on relationships. But now, with Jupiter moving into Scorpio, we're going to experience the results of our hard work. So whatever hard work you've put into this in the past, where you feel unlucky, you're going to begin to experience and reap the rewards for all of that hard work. That's coming your way. You're going to start feeling more confident and more connected in your relationships with others. And that's all regarding this Jupiter and Scorpio. Now, your internal feelings right here has to do with the Nine of Wands. And again, this is about the battles and the struggles. This is reflective of not quite being at the end. Now, this is at the end. This is the 10. But internally, you're feeling like you're not quite there. There's one more battle for you to fight. So this is all your kind of your battle trophies here. And this is you standing strong. You've got one more battle to go. You're almost at the end of the cycle, and then you can begin this new cycle with this new job, this new course of action here. And this is going to take place. And maybe your battle, because, you know, when I look at the images of the cards, this guy's looking at the house. So maybe there's this battle about wanting this house and wanting this prosperity, but it's conflicting with taking care of the children. There's some kind of conflict. Maybe you're a preschool teacher or a daycare teacher and you don't make enough money. Maybe you really enjoy doing that work, but it's not enough money. So there's this conflict within you reflected here. And there's all these battles and difficulties about how to gain that financial prosperity that you just don't seem to have, because that shows up here too with you feeling unlucky. This is the external energies, which is the Magician card. This is usually it means having all of the elements at your disposal to create the life that you want. However, this is outside of you. So this could potentially be somebody who's manipulating you. This could be you feeling like you're being manipulated. These outside forces, this is the outside forces are manipulating you in your life. And maybe you're feeling like you don't really have a sense of control because you don't have any luck. You feel like you're not lucky. And there's these internal conflicts within yourself because you don't really have the control that you wish you had. The control is outside of you, where maybe you feel like you're being manipulated or coerced in some way. And you just can't seem to get where it is you want to go. You can't quite rise above it. You can't quite rise above all of these difficulties that you're having in your life right now. It's almost over, though. It's almost over. I don't, we'll see as we get to these other cards if it's going to show up soon. It may be later on in the year. This is the King of Chalices. Let me describe this person. So he's very emotional, much more emotional than the other suits. So he's very loving, very giving. He's much more in touch with his feminine qualities. The Cup's energy is much more passive and receptive. So he's a much more caring and giving individual. This is your hopes and fears. So maybe you're hoping for someone like this to come into your life. If you're a single person, you're hoping that someone like this comes into your life. Or if you're searching for a new job, maybe you're hoping to have a boss who's much kinder and gentler. Maybe you're working in a job right now where this work-life balance isn't really working out for you. Maybe you have the kind of boss right now that isn't so concerned about your home life. Maybe this just reflects your home life. Maybe you have a boss right now that doesn't really care about that, and you need a new job because you need to find that work-life balance, and you're hoping to find someone like this in your life. I see this, the King of Cups, I see as a more positive energy. There's not a whole lot I can say about this kind of a person in a negative sense. Now, other than somebody who's too emotional, there are those people who become very dramatic in their emotions and very dramatic with their emotions. So that could be a fear of being afraid of being tied up in all of that drama with somebody who's too emotional. But generally, I see this kind of person as being a very good, well-balanced individual because he's a man with all those masculine qualities, but he's also in touch with these feminine qualities. So he's very well-balanced. And then this is the final outcome. So this card reflects you feeling like you're stuck in your situation. There's still no forward movement. You're still not able to rise above it all. You're still not able to move forward from the situation. And you're still feeling stuck. Sometimes it's about looking at your situation from a different perspective. In this particular deck, when I turn him around, he doesn't look that much better. Sometimes in the decks, you turn him around and he looks happy and joyful and he's dancing for joy. But no, this guy looks just as morose this way as he does this way. So it's just feeling stuck in a situation that you can't get out of. But then here's Temperance, and this is that balance again. Temperance is about balance and moderation. So this is balance and finding, so this is, if you're in a situation where you need to find balance between your home life and your career, between caring for your children and having the prosperity, the Temperance is about finding that balance. So the final outcome is finding balance between your home life and your career. Or finding balance, finding balance within yourself. Maybe you're just hoping for these qualities within you. Maybe you're hoping to be more in touch with your emotions, because with the Swords energy, you're not as in touch with your emotions. If I can pick her card up. This person is not as emotional as the King of Cups would be. So maybe this is finding balance between these two qualities. And they're kind of opposites. If we put them all together, they're opposites. This is a woman with the masculine energy. The swords and the wands are the masculine energy if you think of them like a phallic symbol. I hate to say that, but that's the way, I remember what's what, because this is the aggressive energy and this is that passive receptive energy. This is the female energy here within the male. This is the male energy within the female, and you put it all together and you have a very balanced quality. So maybe you're hoping to find balance within yourself. Maybe these internal conflicts within yourself have to do with not finding that balance within you. And if this is this internal conflicts, maybe you're struggling with identity. Do you identify male or female? And there's this internal conflict of wanting to find that balance. And maybe you don't really identify as either, which is kind of how I'm seeing this. You're just balanced all the way around. Male and female, masculine, feminine qualities, a complete balance within both. And that's showing up in the final outcome with this Temperance card is about being balanced. And then we have this card here, which is, again, this is about moving on and moving forward. So there's no forward movement. In this deck of cards, in the traditional tarot, this would show forward movement. And it doesn't show forward movement here. He's just kind of blessing. He's like blessing the cups. It's like forgiveness. So whatever these emotional upheavals may have been, maybe these are past relationships, maybe this was emotional drama that you've been experiencing. Maybe this was whatever the difficulties you may have had. This is about forgiving. This isn't moving on or moving away from it. It's about forgiving. So maybe you're not able to move on. Maybe you're not rising above because you're not moving away from these conflicts. You're just learning how to forgive. Instead of moving away from it, you're forgiving it. And that's what I'm seeing here with this final outcome, is being able to forgive. And then, oh, that's it. That was all of them. So there's your reading. Thanks for watching. If this doesn't resonate with you, check the reading for your rising sign. I'm going to start uploading them. It'll take me a few days before I get all 12 signs. I'm also going to do the relationship reading and an angel reading as well. So check for those in the next few weeks. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Then you can find my channel and come back to see the rest of the readings. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you back next month. Take care and God bless.